Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with a daily technical update. It is Tuesday the 10th of June. It was Whit Monday here in Denmark yesterday, so I took a day off. This is an educational video. There is no advice or recommendation whatsoever intended during this. And today we'll start with Google or Alphabet C-share that yesterday closed just below resistance at 178. I think it will break it. RSI is in positive sentiment. There's no divergence indicating likely higher levels, likely to move to 183, possibly higher. It is forming this possibly rising wedge-like pattern. But for now, it seems like we are in a bullish trend confirmed. So I think we will see it pushing higher. So let's see if it will actually stay in this formation. It is not very likely. The Nasdaq 100, a little bit higher yesterday, still pushing higher, but there's also still divergence on the RSI. As you can see here, it is declining, meaning we are in trend exhaustion mode, but it can still go on for some time for now. So let's see, as long as we stay above 21,455, then it seems to be pushing the trend higher. If it closes below, well, then the next support down here, 2818, 2613 area. Pre-market, really not much to say. On the other indices, we have the S&P 500, also a little bit high yesterday, but also we have divergence here on the RSI, as you can see, but it has closed above its falling trend line here on the RSI, which it's an indication that we could push a little bit higher, but it is on thin ice, I would say. And here on the Dow Jones, actually 42,841 still holding. It has spiked above a little bit, so there's still some resistance. Let's see here the next couple of days, can actually close above and then resume or confirm and extend the uptrend. In Asia session this morning, we have the Seng index more or less unchanged, but it is in a bullish trend confirmed. And I think it could still push towards the previous peak here at 24,875. It is not a likely could test it. It is a little fragile, however. 35 moving average basically flat, a little bit declining. But RSI is still bullish. There's minor divergence on the RSI, as we can see. And the way we can see it is that we can put a horizontal line. You see it is just below the peak over here. So there is divergence indicating trend exhaustion. But for now, it is still bullish, and we don't have a top and reversal in place, so it could still extend higher. Nikkei forming this triangle-like pattern. It's not the best one, but nevertheless, it tested the previous peak here at 38,470. Couldn't close above it. If it can close above it, then I think we will also take out the peak here just below 39,000 and a higher level. Europe yesterday, flat. I've been flat a little bit for a while. Let's move to the actual index, EuroStoxx index, 5,436. Still a minor resistance, we can see it here. And then, of course, the peak here at 54,67. Struggling a little bit, but there's no divergence, as we can see. The RSI here was also high here, and it's lower here, and we're lower here. So we could still push higher, but it needs to close above the 5,436 and take out this peak there. RSI is still positive sentiment, so let's see a little bit higher here pre-buying, but not much to talk about. The DAX index still in this top and reversal like mode here. There is actually divergence. You can see the RSI lower here than here. Market was here, higher here, then over here, indicating trend exhaustion. That's what we call imbalance. So there's a battle going on, I would say, and pre-market we are set to open basically unchanged. I know we closed higher here, but it didn't close above this peak there on the bearish engulfing, still intact. It spiked higher, so be careful out there if you're long. we could soon see some correction. But if it closes above 24,326, then the option could be extended. On the FX market, your dollar still trading sideways, just above the 113.85. Now support there, but even if it closed below, it's not a cause to alarm. Key support here is 112. The rising trend line here is could be first indication of correction if it pushes lower. However, we can see 21 moving average coming up, 55 up, 100 and 200. I think eventually we will see your dollar pushing higher towards previous peak there, and also towards 117. I think it's just a question of time. Again, this is not a recommendation or advice whatsoever. If it takes out 112, we have a different situation and could still be range bound or even dip into 113 without demolishing the bullish picture. Sterling dollar lower this morning here, could test the 134.15 support area. Let's remove this one and let's remove this one. So that would be key towards, and what I will do then instead, I will actually add this Fibonacci to this little uptrend here, and I say this is the peak there, and we could see a drop to 133 and a quarter, maybe even 132.40, which is the 786 retracement where we have the 55 moving average coming up. There's been divergence on the imbalance on the RSI for quite some time, indicating uptrend exhaustion. If it closes below 134.15, I think it maybe just needs to take it out. We'll see at lower levels. Euro sterling is on the move. Could test the 84.65 resistance here shortly, and maybe push up to the 38.2 retracement at 85. That would be key towards here. I think the next day or so. If it takes out, and I will actually just very short do this. Say, okay, if it takes out 84, actually 84 and a bit, but if it takes out 84, then I think we'll see a retest of the lows here at 83.55. Dollar yen bounced to the 55 moving average, really trying to get above it, but can't really take it out. Well, I mean, it did take it out, but it can't close above it, so it's still struggling. It needs to close above 146.30 to establish a bullish trend, but for now it's still in a bearish one, but 142 strong support area, so we could be range bound this area here for quite some time. The euro yen tested the, let's just adjust this a little bit, tested the 165 and a quarter resistance area. We could see it formed a bullish candle there on the 6th. Yesterday it formed a doji, and if we get a bearish candle here today, it could be a top and reversal like pattern, indicating a setback again. But I think if it takes out the peak today, which is currently around 165.46 and a bit, then we could see it push to 166. But for now, it seems like we're sitting back again. Aussie yen spiked almost to the 786 retracement there, then setting back. But there is positive sentiment on the RSI. So if it takes out the spike to up today, the peak today 94.60, then I think we'll see it push up to around the 95.75 area here where we have some resistance. But otherwise, then I think it actually will slide lower, because moving averages are trying to drag it lower at least. The sterling yen rejected at the resistance there again, 196.40, setting back. Also, I think we could see it setting back a bit to 194, 193. Aussie dollar still trading sideways just below 65.50, and that's the key here. But there are higher lows, and I think that that scenario will still play out as the 200 moving average still trying to hold it down. But we have the 55 and the 100 coming up, so it should be a question about time before it actually breaks higher, but for now it hasn't. So dollar Canada, oops, let's just adjust that chart, bouncing here, and I think it could bounce further. And just to give an idea how much it could bounce, I mean, we can take a Fibonacci from here to the low here. We actually have a bottom reversal pattern in place, so we have an evening doji We have the bearish candle here, we have the doji here, and we have the bullish candle there. I think we'll see a push up to around 138.70. These peaks here, and let's just add a horizontal line. I think we could see it to around here 138.60-65, which is just below the 61.8 retracement of the downtrend there. So expect a bounce, divergence on the RSI. You see, I think if we add a also here, and you can do this yourself, see it's slightly rising, I think. So there is divergence indicating trend exhaust and at least a bounce. Sterling Canada, I think it will test, and also I think it will take out the 184.50 minor support here. It will be key. Its 55 moving average seems to be a little bit of a support, but we could see it dipping to the 183, maybe a little bit lower to the lows here. But the 100 moving average and the cloud support is still there. So let's see how big the downside is. Moving on to the Swiss franc, still here on the Euro Swiss, rejected at the 200 moving average, could retest the lows down here. Still negative sentiment on the RSI, so expect a setback here on Euro Swiss. Dollar Swiss, also sideways range, and let's just move this, but if it takes out the low here 81.55, then expect that sell off down to the lows here at 80.40 and maybe lower. It needs to close above 83.50 to establish a bullish trend. The dollar index, more or less the same picture really. There are declining tops, and we are in a bearish trend. No divergence on the RSI indicating lower levels, but for now it's still holding on. If it takes out the lows here from last week at 98.30, expect the previous lows here to be tested and possibly also lower. On the commodities side and the gold spot, still above the cloud, still in a slightly bullish trend, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low for now at least. Positive sentiment, but divergence on the RSI. It needs to take out the 3,404 to extend the bullish trend. I think it will do it, but it seems to be a little bit pausing, where some of the other metals have really taken the spotlight at the moment. We have silver that has pushed higher, massive over the past 2 weeks. And if we zoom out, we can see actually where we have to look back. We have to look back to the levels here back in 2011, 2012. So 37.5 is the next resistance we've been very close to. Here on the daily, you can see there is no divergence on the RSI. We are a little bit in overbought mode, but there's no divergence indicating likely higher levels. And platinum also pushed higher here the past few weeks, and let's see where we are. We have to look at that levels. We are talking about levels back to 2021, 1256, 1280, maybe even higher here on the platinum. The RSI on daily, no divergence, indicating, well, we are in an overbought territory, so I think we will see a bit of correction before the next push higher. On the copper side, well, copper is still taking a little bit of breather, can't make up its mind. It had a spike up here. We are above all moving averages, but 55 still tracking on it, and there's no positives. The RSI, I don't think it closed above 60 threshold. Oh, it actually did quite 60 spot 30. So it actually in the positive sentiment, but it is struggling a little bit. However, we are above the cloud, we're above 100, we're above 200. So I think it's just a matter of time, a question about time before it will push higher. Energy side and crude oil, we have WTI closing above yesterday, above 64.87, establishing a bullish trend supported by the RSI closing above 60 threshold, and we could see it pushing higher. So we have a kind of a double bottom in place. It's not the best one with this noise over here, it's not that clear cut. But what I will do is that I will say, okay, is that what we are seeing? Kind of, at least. There could be potential up to the 68.5 area. maybe even higher above 70. However, the 100 moving average coming down here and the 200 coming down, they will kind of putting a lid on the upside. So it will be a little bit of a struggle, but we are above the cloud and we are in a bullish trend now. So we could push higher. I think the 55 moving average, it will just slowly turn around, supporting that. It will not be a straight line up, I think, but I think we will see it's slowly building an uptrend towards at least 68 level. Brent also above its minor resistance here at 66.80. RSI not above 60 threshold just yet, so there's a little bit of divergence between the Brent and the WTI. But if RSI closes above 60 threshold, it will also push higher. There's a resistance here at 68. If it takes out that, well, then we are also looking in the 72 and a half area. The European gas setting back now again. And I think we could see a retest of the lows here at 33.70. If it takes out that, well, then we could be looking at the lows here at 31.30 level. The US nat gas still in this massive range here. It needs to close above 385 to establish a bullish trend, and it doesn't seem like it with the moving averages 155 declining. Yields, US 10-year Treasury yields got rejected at a 61.8 retracement at 450. I think we could see it setting back to around 440, where we have the declining 100, but we have the rising 55 and also the 255. So I think it will be limited downside, but maybe around 440 and then push higher. The 2-year still in this range between 380 and 4 and a bit. Moving on to the European yields. We have EU here that is still in a bearish trend, but the 249 support here is still holding on. The key one is though 243. It could test it, but still we are still in a positive sentiment. But I think if it takes out the lows here at 247, then we're looking at 243. That would be key. The UK also bearish here. Short-term testing again the 61.8 here at 456. Could drop to the 450 level. And finally, Bitcoin. Bitcoin took out the resistance here at 106,632 yesterday, really pushed higher, and I think we could see it back to test the previous all-time high at 112. If it takes it out, well, where can we go to? And that's what we can use this for. We just do this and then we push it higher. Let's see, it just needs to add this and this to it, and then there's potential to 116.5, 400 and 119. So that could be really crucial here the next few days. Ethereum lacking a little bit, but if it takes out 27.95, then I think we'll see it pushing higher above 3,000. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day. Talk to you again later.